At the start of my junior year, I was assigned a history class in room 404, a room I had never heard of before. When I asked around, no one seemed to know where it was. Determined to find it, I scoured the campus until I stumbled upon an old, rarely used building at the edge of campus. The hallway leading to room 404 was dimly lit and eerily quiet. When I finally found the door, it looked weathered and out of place in the modern building. With a deep breath, I pushed it open and stepped inside. The room was dusty and filled with old wooden desks. Faded chalkboard writing from decades ago was still visible. It felt like stepping into a forgotten part of history. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, I took a seat, determined to attend my first class. Just as I began to wonder if I was in the wrong place, the door creaked open and an old, stern-looking professor entered. He had a distant, almost ghostly appearance. The class began, but his lectures were strange, filled with references to events that seemed out of place and time. The professor's lectures were unnerving. He wrote strange symbols and dates on the chalkboard, speaking of events and people that didn't match any history I knew. My classmates seemed equally puzzled, but no one dared to ask questions. After class, I decided to stay behind and examine the room. In a dusty cabinet, I found old newspaper clippings and records detailing the mysterious disappearance of a history professor decades ago. The professor looked exactly like the one teaching our class. Determined to get answers, I confronted the professor the next day. When I mentioned the old newspaper clippings, his face changed, becoming more menacing and spectral. The room grew darker and colder, and an overwhelming sense of dread filled the air. As the professor spoke in a low, guttural voice, the walls of the classroom started to shake and crumble. Ghostly faces and hands reached out from the cracks, and a sense of sheer panic overtook us. My classmates and I scrambled to escape, but the door wouldn't budge. Desperate, we broke a window and climbed out, running away from the building as fast as we could. When I looked back, the professor's ghostly figure watched us from the shattered window, a chilling reminder of the classroom's curse. Later, I discovered that room 404 had been sealed off for years after the mysterious disappearance of the professor and several students. The university had tried to bury its haunted history, but the curse remained. Even now, I can't forget the terror of that classroom. Sometimes, late at night, I hear the professor's voice, whispering from the shadows, reminding me that some horrors never truly fade.